Chapter 21. Angelica walked from her home to the Arenal. She decided that she wouldn't risk driving when she still had some of the grogginess in her system. The cold water of the drink was followed by cold water of a shower. Between them, they had helped her feel like she was ready for the rest of the day, but not enough to drive a car around all those kids and to ferry the precious cargo of her only child. Angelica wanted to walk off the effects of whatever had made her feel that way. In the past, she had felt like this when a heavy cold or flu was just about to strike, but it didn't feel like that. It was like an intoxication. The only things she'd had to eat since breakfast were the cherries from the market. Angelica wondered what those farmers were putting on their crops. She walked as quickly as her head would allow, working her way through the possible explanations. Drink? No, haven't had those in a few months. Drugs? Well, no, not when I have a child in my care. Food poisoning? Unlikely. Not much chance of catching from cornflakes and milk. Something in the air? Again, unlikely. If it was then, we'd all be feeling the same way. I'd be walking down a street of people all holding their heads. The flu doesn't feel like any flu I've had before. As Angelica walked and thought, she passed by shops, cafes, bars and restaurants, all doing their thing. Bars were getting ready for the evening trade. It had been a sunny enough day that day, would be out that evening grabbing the last of the sun after work, then grabbing a drink or two in the evening air. The shops were open, but trade was slack. Angelica knew that these survived with what they did in the months to come. The rest of the year was just ticking over on skeleton staffing. The cafes and restaurants did well all year round. There were enough people with enough money to make a living 365 days a year, the summer months being the cherry on top. Angelica walked past a charity shop and looked at the white plastic stand that contained DVDs. Angelica was on the lookout for something new to watch. She didn't subscribe to cable TV, and the Spanish channels were too much for her grasp of the language. It was pretty much her DVD player that gave Angelica access to anything to watch on the box. She spun it round and looked at the movies. Angelica was a bit of a movie buff, and she didn't mind paying €1 or €2 for a DVD and then giving it back to charity after a few watches. The movies on the stand didn't really float her boat, until she saw Fight Club. Angelica recited lines from films she had seen repeatedly to her friends on the phone and over social media. The one quote from Fight Club that always came to her mind when she saw the image of Edward Norton and Brad Pitt with a bar of soap in his hand was, "One can make all kinds of explosives using simple household items." But what about poisons? She asked herself, blushing as a passer-by turned their head at the comment. As she said it to herself over and over in her head, Angelica had a brainwave. She did some research on her phone. Her brain went into overdrive, putting all the pieces together from her experiences over the past few days. She researched a website on her phone, clicking away at the details like they would be wiped clear seconds later. Angelica found what she wanted, and then turned her phone to another use. "Javi, can I pick you up? I have something I'd like to work through with you."